Let's look ahead to Sunday in the NBA to help win your matchup for Week 11. Fantasy basketball, Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and no run! I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok, at redrock_bball, and on Instagram, at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Are you part of the DB squad? Are you a double banger? Do you bang it once on video and then double up on audio? Because you should. And if you are here on the video side, hit subscribe, hit thumbs up, leave your comment, and ring my bell. It is a very simple proposition. We are talking about Sunday's action. We're trying to win our weekly matchup. So what we're looking to do is stream in guys for points leagues and for the separate categories in category leagues, with a mindful approach to what we do in future weeks and coming weeks and all that sort of stuff. But we're really focusing on what should we be paying attention to for Sunday across the NBA. And it is important, especially for those of us who are here, not in the United States. There is an early game tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. That is 5 a.m. here for me, so that's sick. And a bunch of early ones, actually. There's the 1 p.m. Eastern game. There's a 3 p.m. Eastern game. There are two 6 p.m. Eastern games because, of course, there is. Why wouldn't there be? That is how we're rolling on week 18 of the NFL schedule as well. That's how that is cracking on. I'll talk about it later. We'll get to that in a sec. Let's look at some injury updates here across the NBA. We've got Jose Alvarado out in New Orleans. DeAndre Hunter will be out. Jingle Joey's out. Franz Wagner is out. I think Wagner's going to be out at least a week here. Johnny Isaac out again. Yeah, I don't think he's playing this week. Dante Exum remains sidelined. So does Maxi Kleber. Bol. Nasir Little. Face. Monte Morris, no updates on that bloke ever. Isaiah Stewart, and then the last one, I had created this graphic, and then of course the news came out, and you'll be shocked to hear this. If you don't know the news, I'm sure you do. You know this, that yesterday we heard that the Golden State Warriors, Chris Paul, suffered a broken hand and would be undergoing surgery. They haven't given a time frame, but I'm telling you, it's 4+ weeks. It's probably 5 to 6, right? That is the time frame on a broken hand, so that's what we expect. Just coincidentally, absolutely bang on, without anything else happening, the gods smiled down on the Warriors and they said, well, Chris Paul's going to be out for 4 weeks. Draymond Green, completely clean. He's fixed. His suspension is over and he is ready to return. What on earth are the odds of that happening? That is just, wow. Talk about a franchise being kissed on the deck. That is just amazing. What amazing timing that is, that Paul is out, Draymond returns. Not even the round number suspension, just 12 games. This is why I was very critical of the suspension. I would have given him 20, but that's not the point. My point was, give a number. 15, 10, and then we reassess based on criteria at the time. This open-ended stuff is so annoying. It is so, this might be complete coincidence. But the fact that you don't say anything makes me go, well, it's not coincidence. Because it's ridiculous. 3 days ago, he wasn't even around the team facility. Now, he's ready to go. Woj just said he's going to be another week before he's out, so he is still out, Draymond. So that out status is there. The next game is Wednesday. He's not going to play in that one either. So he's probably going to be out for the rest of week 12 also. But it smells. Simple as that. My criticism of it it's not the length. I would have done more, but whatever. 12 games is all right. My criticism of the process was tell us the time. Give an actual firm suspension. Indefinite suspensions are garbage. They are very much garbage. Because then you're rife for this sort of bullshit going on. And it's not a great look. Not a great look. Whatever. Who am I? Absolutely nobody. Rui Hachimura, I'm going to guess he's going to remain out with the Lakers. DeAndre Ayton I listed as doubtful, but he is officially out. I would suggest that puts him out Tuesday as well, with the Blazers on the New York trip. Well, they're on the big road trip, but they're going to be Brooklyn, New York, or Nets Knicks on Sunday, Tuesday. So I'll guess that he doesn't play on Tuesday as well. Derek Lively's officially doubtful. That's why listing him questionable was absolutely insane for that game yesterday. It made no sense. He was never going to play. I don't know why they did it, and now he's doubtful for the next one. Sure, this is a week plus, has to be. A lot of the time, I can see through the injury reporting stuff, like the Kevin Durant one, like the Bradley Beal one, like the DeAndre Ayton, well, not really the DeAndre one. I didn't do that. The Derek Lively one, I can see through a lot of it. It's just frustrating that they just won't. Mark Williams, I couldn't see through it because they lie. And we have no idea what it is. But this is just makes no sense. So I'd expect Lively misses a few more than this. This questionable tag, again, gives us this hope that he was going to be back. And I don't think that he is. Don Barlow got a hit in the head, and flippantly post-game on Thursday, they said that he was dealing with concussion protocol. But now on the injury report, it says questionable G League. I don't know how you can be questionable to be in the G League, to be honest. You're either in the G League or you're not. How are you questionable? But irrespective, Barlow is the backup center. I expect that he gets recalled from the G League and gets the backup minutes again. Looks like his head is fine. How's your head? No complaints. Moses Brown, I had him as questionable. He is out, while the Painter Matisse Thybulle is officially questionable there as well for Portland. Jabari Walker, he is also questionable. That has been confirmed and finalized. Zion Williamson is questionable for the Pelicans. Trey Lyles, we don't have the update on yet. He had to leave the game. He got whacked in the face and then he sprained his ankle. So I don't think he will play, but we'll find out. The Magic situation is very frustrating. Goga Badadze and Wendell Carter Jr. are both questionable. Obviously, we saw last game when they were completely depleted that Mo Wagner was an excellent stream guy, but I can't go and tell you that he's going to be an excellent stream guy because I don't know whether Goga, who's ill, or Wendell with his knee are going to play. Both playing would ruin a lot of Mo's upside. And they've once again listed Markelle Fultz as questionable. His return has been 3 weeks coming. And I just keep thinking this is what worries me. You should have dropped him weeks ago. And I don't even know he's a high-level stash because the fact that he keeps trying to play and there's obviously setbacks, it's not a good sign. I would say that this questionable tag is pretty iffy, but we'll find out. They've also got Mr. Black as questionable. He lasted 4 minutes in the last game before leaving with an illness. Luka Doncic is questionable with that quad issue. This is a quad issue that's been going through since September. I have a question for you guys. Luka, I would say, has taken a step forward this season. I think that's fair. He's taken a step up this season. But, and I am certain there are going to be other examples of this that I just can't think of off the top of my head. But which players that played in the World Cup have taken steps forward this season? I guess Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner has. Dennis Schroeder, I would say, is definitely not playing as well as he played in the World Cup, but is he better than he was last season? I say he's probably about bang on. But Shea? Yeah, I guess Shea did. Yeah, Shea's taken steps forward. But American players, Kessler, Reeves, Ingram. Has Brunson taken a step forward? Probably. Halliburton? Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Halliburton's improved. Sure. Okay. Scrap that whole train of thought. Anyway, Luka's quad issue has been running since September. You know that I did not want to take him top 4 in drafts because of a 2-game playoff schedule and the lingering quad issue. He's been putting up really good numbers. I'm starting to be a little worried about the gigantic load that he's been bearing and where that leads us. I wouldn't trade him unless I was getting a top 5 player back. Shea, Halliburton, Embiid, Jokic, or top 4 actually. Wouldn't trade him unless I was getting one of those guys back. But I would 100% trade him for one of those guys. Or Giannis, the other one. There's a top 5. That's your top 5. I'd get any of those guys back for Luka. Rashawn Holmes also questionable. Grant Williams questionable. Vincey Williams is questionable. Eric Gordon is questionable in Phoenix. And then the other big one in Phoenix is that Kevin Durant is questionable. But bear this in mind also. The Suns have a Sunday, Monday back-to-back. And an old bastard with a lower body injury history. We put that on the stone template of commandments. An old bastard, lower body injury history, soft tissue injury. He's not playing the back-to-back, Kevin Durant. If he does, they will cop an absolute barrage. He will not play it. I don't know if he plays Sunday or if he plays Monday, but it is absolute stupidity if he plays both. So just expect one of these games for Durant to be out. I would expect that he sits Sunday. It would make way more sense, an extra day of rest versus playing and then having a day off. But we'll find out. Maybe they do the dumb thing and play him in both of them. Julian Strouder missed last game due to an injury. Gary Trent, he's an interesting streamer if he's available. D'Angelo Russell's bum has been sore. He's questionable. No official update on that. I'm sure he will be joined by LeBron James, Cam Reddish, Jared Vanderbilt, and Anthony Davis on the injury report, and all of them will play. The Russell one we just don't know about. Malachi Branham, the horse Keldon Johnson, they're both probable for the Spurs, which we're getting into that little bit of a worrying situation with the Spurs because Jeremy Sohan and Doug McDermott are also probable. And it was around the middle of January last season. Devin Vassell had a knee surgery. Yes, that was a legitimate injury. But then they started putting everyone on the injury report every day. Weird stuff happening all over the shop. And we are now obviously in January, and we are seeing these random probable tags pop up for guys like Johnson and Sohan and McDermott and all these guys. So just be a little bit cautious of it with the Spurs. Cam Johnson had a hamstring issue at the end of last game. He's fine. Cody Zeller's going to play, and Yusuf Nurkic got whacked in the snoz, so he's going to be... Do you say snoz or schnoz, or do you say none of those words? Hooter. What do you say? What are your nicknames for a nose? We used to call, but we used to say as a nickname, not nickname, what am I trying to say? The Chinese word, the Mandarin word for nose is bizi. So that was what we'd often call a nose in high school because we were forced to learn Mandarin. And I don't remember much of it apart from bizi, ni hao, zai zhen. There you go. Mandarin lesson 101. Today's episode is brought to you by the Game Time app. Events, tickets, they shouldn't be hard things, should they? Events, we love them. We go to them because it's fun. Tickets, that's what you need to get into events. But why is the process always so confusing? Why is it always so annoying? Well, it's not anymore with Game Time. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, and views from your seat. You also get their best price guarantee. So going to an event is a great, great experience. You get easy to find and buy tickets for all events in your area. The all-in pricing is fantastic. Instead of guessing what random fees another site is going to put on, processing, transaction, just because I can at 2%. Like, what is this number? On Game Time, $50 ticket means you pay $50 for it. What a novel concept. It's amazing that you can actually pay for something that is the same price that the price on the ticket says. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price. Guaranteed. So, what else do we have to look at now that we've looked at injuries and I've ranted about schnozzes and Draymond Green suspension? Well, let's look at where we're sitting with back-to-backs. Heading from Sunday into Monday, it's two teams. It's the Clippers and the Suns. Be on high alert for Eric Gordon and Kevin Durant for the Suns. Be on small alert for Kawhi. I think he'll be fine, but just keep an eye on it because he's obviously coming off that hip problem. Just keep a sort of side eye on that situation. If you're one of these legends out here playing in a points league, let's have a look at some guys that are available in 55% of leagues across on Yahoo who you might be able to stream in. And I've taken the coward's way out at the top of this list and said that Goga Badadze is the stream, but I don't know if he's going to play. But if he doesn't, then I'll be very interested in streaming Mo Wagner. And if Wendell is out as well, then I very much would stream Mo Wagner over basically anybody. There is 9 games on Sunday, but there's not a plethora of great available stream options there. But Mo would be very, very, very far and away the best option if Goga is out, and in particular if Goga and Wendell are out. Day'Ron Sharpe, last game we saw big Nick Claxton minutes and low Day'Ron minutes. Day'Ron's a little bit in flux, he's a little bit volatile in terms of playing time, but he's worth a look. Sohan's available in like 63% of leagues, and I'll be honest with you, it's way too low. I know there's a pushback against Sohan because he was the starting point guard and he didn't do a huge amount, but that number's too low. Like, he just should be on way more rosters than that. Same with Cole Anthony. With the absence of Gary Harris, with the potential absence of Anthony Black, with the unlikely presence of Markelle Fultz, Cole is going to have to do a lot. And he's there. He's available. It had been trending downwards for him, and you dropped him. Rightfully so. Hard to hold a backup playing 20 minutes a night. But that's not the case, at least for Sunday. Trayce Jackson-Davis, I don't know exactly what is going to happen when Draymond returns, but it is not hard to argue that Jackson-Davis has been significantly better than Kevon Looney this season. I don't know how that rotation works when Draymond returns, but we've got another week, I reckon, until that happens, given the ramp-up situation. So don't stress it. Have Podziemski, have Kuminga, and have Jackson-Davis. And then we just assess it, deal with it later on. So yeah. And then Isaac Okoro pops up as a Yahoo point stream. That is how dire the situation is. Not many great point streamers. On ESPN, it is the same list, except we'll throw Torian Prince in there instead of Isaac Okoro. You can also stream Prince in for Yahoo too. So it's the Badadze-Wagner combo. There's Dayron Sharp, Sohan, Cole Anthony, Trace Jackson-Davis, and the artist formerly known as Torian Prince jumping in there at the 6th spot, taking over from Isaac Okoro. In terms of category leagues now, let's look at who we can stream in just for the points category, and there's a very, very clear standout, and it is the big fella, dreadlockless legend Cole Anthony, who is at the top of the list. Both him and Kuminga, recent haircuts. Kuminga got rid of the braids, Anthony got rid of the locks, and there we are. Maybe just too much maintenance hassle, I'm guessing. Cole Anthony at number 1 as a points streamer. Alec Burks, he's getting minutes over Jaden Ivey, which you can criticize Monty as much as well. I won't say Ivey's playing particularly well because he's not. But at the moment, Burks is running some pretty good numbers. Why can't I speak? Pretty good numbers and a sizable role. Sohan, yeah, he's not a huge point scorer, but you're not finding 20-point guys off the wire. He might be a 14-point guy who plays 31 minutes. That's enough. Norman Powell, got the benefit of the back-to-back there for the Clippers as well. The pencil Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. He's sort of back in the good books lately. And if Trey Lyles misses, then it does help Barnes. So they're playing a little bit more of Barnes, especially as they're playing less Herter and less Duarte. And then the last one is the artist formerly known as Torian Prince. We know that he is going to get minutes because nobody shoots really, although it's alleviated slightly by the elevation of 40-minute Austin Reeves. But Prince is going to get opportunities and he can help you in the points category. For threes, Sam Merrill's at the top. This is what he does. He'll hit 3 of them probably. He's going to get 18, 19 minutes, and you can stream him in for that. Prince is next, and then we've got Caleb Houston, who probably won't start. They're going with Chuma Akeke. I don't really like Akeke as much of a stream at all. Houston can hit 3 threes in 9 points, very similar to the way that Sam Merrill can. And the other game, we saw him get some steals in there as well. Not saying that's likely to happen, though. Alec Burks is there again. The Duck Luke Kennard, who went 0-4 last game, so that was sick, but he's in the mix. And then Julian Champagny. Bubbles has had some good games and some bad games, but as he continues to be a starter, he's at least got to be somewhat on our radar as something of a stream option. Not an excellent one, but at least somewhat there. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. The NFL regular season is wrapping up within the next day. But there is still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Not a $5 moneyline bet. Not you must win and pick your team to win. None. Just place a bet. Win or lose. $150 guaranteed. It's a way better deal. FanDuel upping the deal game over in 2024. It's easy to use the app. There are so many different bet types, and they've got something called parlays. You can do live same-game parlays. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub where all of the parlay legends out there are posting their parlays that they've created so that you can copy their parlay and parlay that into hopefully some better parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab as well. You can do the futures. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Who do you think is going to win the NBA championship? Who do you think is going to be the Lakers' new coach? All of that stuff. I'm sure maybe that one's not there. You can check all that over at FanDuel. So go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel is an official partner of the NFL, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Let's bring this big fella home now. We've done points, we've done threes. That's going to bring us into talk about the old rebounds. And of course, we have to go with Dayron Sharp there. It could blow up in our face or it could have 12 in 17 minutes. That is the way of the Sharp. Traxon. There we go. There's a new nickname. Action Traxon Jackson Davis. He's on the list for rebounds. You got Goga Badadze there. If he plays, you can sub Mo Wagner in there. You got Jeremy Sohan, Larry Nance. Although I don't, and I know there'll be, maybe I'm wrong. If Zion doesn't play, I don't think this helps Nance. I don't think that this means more minutes for him. I don't think they want to play Nance and Valanciunas together. In fact, it just likely means more Valanciunas minutes, fewer Nance minutes, but we'll find out. So I think Zion being out will actually be worse for Larry, but we'll see. The other one there is Kevon Looney, because if there's one thing the man does, he gets some rebounds, and that's it. But if he plays 14 minutes, he can have 6 boards. I wouldn't feel particularly confident in trying to grab Kevon Looney to stream in, because he could play 10 minutes. But at least he does get rebounds. In terms of assists, there's a couple of options and then there's a couple of nothingnesses. Cole Anthony's up there. Reggie Jackson. The big fella Dennis Smith Jr., who's probably a 20-minute legend. 6 assists maybe, 2 steals, a block, 5 rebounds. He's worthwhile to look at. Sohan, decent assist. Kyle Anderson doesn't do really much more, but he's there. And then Malachi Branham. Will he go back into... If he goes back into the starting lineup ahead of Trey Jones, I don't know. I just don't... I was relatively high on Branham as a draft prospect, and as I've seen him play, I was like, ooh, yeah, not really. Not really feeling it for him at this point. Steals, it is I don't know. I was going to say whatever the opposite of a cornucopia is. What would that be? all of you wordsmiths out there. It's not much going on here. That's what I'm trying to say. Isaac Okoro, Larry Nance, the Dustbuster Dyson Daniels, the artist formerly known as Torian Prince, Derek Jones, and Cameron Reddish. They can all actually get you 4 steals, but what the hell else are they doing? That is part of the problem with streaming, and that's why steals are such a weird category. And I think you'll find when you're playing category leagues, a lot of the time your weekly matchup can often come down to steals, because the steals are sort of distributed weirdly. They're a low variance, or they're a high variance, low volume stat, which change all the time. And a lot of the players that come in and get steals, like Isaac Okoro, don't do anything else. So you often try and boost those numbers up and don't really don't help you anywhere else. So that becomes a problem. Like Daniels, like Reddish, like Okoro, like Derek Jones maybe can score sometimes to get some blocks. Nance is a rebounder, but man, sometimes you just get steals and you don't do anything else. Shout out to Matisse Thybulle, who would have been on that list, but I don't know that he's going to play either. For blocks, the same thing goes with Goga Badadze. Maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. We've got Trace Jackson-Davis, Day'Ron Sharpe, Peyton Watson, Ibu Baji with DeAndre Ayton out, and Bismack Biyombo. Although, I would not trust Biyombo as far as I could throw him. That's not an indictment on him. It's an indictment on the way that Taylor Jenkins is running the rotations. It could be Tillman with 50 minutes. It could be Biyombo with 50, and they both could play 0. And I am aware that it's not 50 minutes in an NBA game. Let's look at field goal percentage. Dwight Powell was almost definitely going to be starting for the Mavericks. He doesn't do a huge amount else. He might have 6 and 6 with a steal, a block, but go like 3 of 3 from the field for 100%. Goga's in there, Day'Ron Sharpe's in there, Flamimo Wagner's in there, and if you're looking for a volume guy, a higher volume guy who scores, Wagner's probably going to be your option. Jackson Davis, and then amazingly, yes, I am recommending that maybe if you just need field goal percentage, maybe if you squint really hard, you could consider maybe streaming in Jim Wiseman. I got that out eventually. Yeah. Free throw percentage, it is Cole Anthony, it is Alec Burks. We've got the pencil, Harrison Barnes, we've got Cameron Reddish, we've got Lukey Kennard, and Dario Saric. Some very high-level free throw guys who can easily go 4 of 4, Cole Anthony, 4 of 4, Harrison Barnes, 2 of 2, Burks. Just enough to give you a slight boost. Is it enough to win your week? Or maybe you stack a couple of them up with the other guys on your team, and maybe it's enough. We'll see. In terms of some other categories, some other commonly used categories, we're going to go 3-point percentage with Slam and Sammy Merrill. Offensive rebounds has to be Day'Ron Sharpe. Assist to turnovers, I am going to look towards Reggie Jackson. And then free throws made and field goals made, I think it's probably Cole Anthony, the guy that we take a look at there. Let's get chunky and look at Sunday through Thursday. We've got the only higher volume day in that chunk is on Wednesday with 10 games on, and even then you might be able to stream. But if we ignore that, where does the value lie? Well, the Lakers and Torian Prince play Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. 3 quality games in the next 5 days. The Mavericks and Derek Jones play 3 quality games. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. If we hear Luka Doncic is out, Jaden Hardy is in this mix as well. They've got the Phoenix Suns. Chimezie Metu, who I think gets at least one start with Durant sitting one of these 2 games and at least backup center run. He's a Sunday, Monday, Thursday guy. Remember, Bol is out. Cole Anthony's only got 2 games, but it's Sunday, Tuesday, and he's got a potentially sizable role coming as well. Dwop Reith plays Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, so that means the Blazers do as well, and Ayton is probably going to be out at least 2 of those. So Reith's in there, and then the Nets, I know they've got a bad schedule, but they do have 2 quality games in the next 5 days, and Day'Ron Sharpe plays Sunday, Thursday. I wouldn't recommend you have to hold Sharpe through Sunday through to Thursday, but he's got some okay value in the next 5 days, so we always have to be cautious about how quick we are on dropping guys, even if the schedule for this week is poor. Again, Sharpe is not the guy that we need to be like, wow, we actually have to keep him through everything, but he's at least someone that we can have a look at as a little bit of value there. And that will do it for me today in this look ahead to Sunday's action. Remember, early game, 1 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Get your lineup set, get your waiver wire moves done, get your free agents streamed in, get all of that sorted out. Guys, be a double banger. Hit the subscribe button over here on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. And if you're on audio, leave reviews, thumb it up, follow it, all of that stuff. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.